Chapter 11. I know it, I believe it, and it is so. There's a saying I thoroughly believe in. If you believe it, it's so. This is simply a cryptic statement or digest of what I have been telling you over and over. All the great teachers, Buddha, Confucius, Muhammad, Jesus, and many philosophers taught this great fundamental idea. It is found in all religions, cults, creeds, and sects. Everywhere runs the same general theme, the gist of which, in my words, is, if you believe it, it's so. I quote from the Bible, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." You've heard this quotation many times before, but I repeat for emphasis. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you believe it, it's so. Note the similarity? Reduce the whole thing to one word: faith. I have heard many people say that the day of miracles is past, but never in my life have I heard a thinker, a student, or a believer make such a declaration. Surely the days of Aladdin and his lamp are gone. Perhaps they never existed, and so with the magic wand, the magic carpet, and all of those things of fairy tale and legend. Entertaining, but no basis in fact, no reality. When I refer to miracles, I mean those things which can be accomplished through faith. Faith in your belief, faith in yourself, faith in the persons with whom you are associated, faith in a power, faith in that something which controls the destinies of everyone. If you can get that faith and dissipate the negative side, nothing in this world can stop you from acquiring what you desire. While this may sound facetious, it is true. You can have anything obtainable if you really want it. Faith is the mainspring of attainment. You must have it to achieve, to move yourself and others. What is it that Amy had? Gypsy Smith? Billy Sunday? Billy Graham? Monsignor Sheen? Norman Vincent Peale? Belief, faith, fundamentally, and the ability of a staunch believer to pass it on to the other fellow. It's the very keynote of all great religions. All big things are started by one person, one believer. It makes no difference where he got the idea originally. All great inventions are the outgrowth of the whole scheme of faith. Faith, belief in yourself, your ideas, your ability to put them over. All super salesmen know this. They use the power. That's why they are super salesmen of religions, commodities, projects. Every community drive, every forward movement, everything worthwhile succeeds because some one person has faith, is the prime mover, the spark plug, the central fountain, and is able to sell what he has in faith to the multitudes, to pass faith on like a contagion. Think about that. Then think about it again, and some more, and again. Meditate over it, and you'll realize that every word is true. You have faith in a religion, a commercial product, a community drive, because someone originally gave you faith in it. You accept certain people as authorities because you believe in them. What they tell you, you believe without question, and you take or buy what they offer you. That's faith. Occasionally, some clever person will mislead you and cause you to believe in something that isn't so. And when you discover this, you are often bitter and disillusioned. You say, "I'll never believe in anyone again." But you will, because to believe is a fundamental trait of human nature. You instinctively want to believe in others and in yourself. This would be a terrible world if we couldn't trust anyone. Foghorn Murphy, The famous umpire baiter said over the radio on Groucho Marx's You Bet Your Life program that the cheapest thing a person could do was to be nice to other people, greet them with a smile, and trust them, that this paid the biggest dividends. He's 1,000% right. Genuine faith in the other fellow always pays off. You may misplace your faith a few times, but this is a rarity. Most people make an extra effort to live up to your faith in them. They may fail others, even take advantage of them, but they are so appreciative of your faith that they won't let you down. I've had men and women say to me, "What are you wasting time on that drunken, no good deadbeat for? He can't be depended on. He'll steal you blind or take advantage of you at the first opportunity." Well, I've placed my faith in hundreds and thousands of men thus far, and I haven't been intentionally let down yet. Some of the folks I've trusted were just too weak to keep on an even keel, but they didn't go out to take me. They felt worse than I did about failing to live up to my estimation of them, and most of them have picked themselves up and have been trying again and again. They know I still have faith in them, that I haven't condemned them, that I am always willing to help when and where I can. But they know too that it is basically up to them, that no person can be helped beyond a certain point, that they've got to do the job of getting back on their feet themselves through faith. The power within cannot operate for you unless you have faith in it. So put your belief to work. Experience is the greatest and at the same time the severest teacher. Through experience, you know what you've done wrong. It beats in on you eventually. And after you know, you start to work setting yourself right by realizing that you need some power greater than yourself to help straighten out your affairs and to start you thinking right. So you discover that something within and you say, "I believe." And this sets up a magnetic current in you which commences to attract to you what you believe in. And when you can feel and see coming to you the things that you have pictured through faith, you say, "And it is so." That's the process of rehabilitation in a nutshell. It may not be religious in any orthodox or creedal sense, but it's spiritual, metaphysical. It's what spiritual leaders of all time have been talking about, reduced to everyday language. There are countless organized campaigns going on whose purpose is to get you to believe in this and that, right along with them. Pause and think for a moment. What is propaganda? Any kind of propaganda, the good and the bad. Often nothing more, nothing less than a well-developed, ingenious plan to make you believe. You've seen it work in the war days, and if you're wide awake to what is going on around you, you know that it is being worked more than ever in every line of human endeavor today, just as it was worked thousands of years ago, and as it will always work. The battle is on for the minds of men all over the world, in free and slave nations. Take great care about what you are enticed to believe in. Be sure you are in unprejudiced, truthful possession of unaltered facts. If not, withhold judgment and don't permit your reason and intuition to be swept aside by convincing sounding emotional appeals. If when you are reading the newspaper, listening to the radio, viewing television, surfing the net, you keep in mind my theme, you will realize that all speeches of our leaders, our great executives, are coming to us with clock-like regularity and are being given with a purpose to make us believe. These men know this. Even so, study everything that is said today. Draw your own conclusions. Make up your own mind as fairly and as unprejudicedly as you can before you believe. Every one of us, if put on the right track, can accomplish what he is after by keeping before him my own expression. If you believe it, it's so. and by adopting the old adage, where there's a will, there's a way. In other words, get that willpower, that faith, that belief working every minute of the day, 24 hours of the day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And I promise you, if you do, you will shoot ahead of people in the progress you make as rapidly as high-frequency electrical discharges oscillate through the ether. Belief takes you where you want to go with the speed of jet propulsion. Doubt and disbelief take you just as fast in the opposite direction. Belief always magnetizes. Disbelief demagnetizes. You know something already of the efficacy of prayer. What is a prayer but the expression of a heartfelt, earnest, sincere want or desire? The great Master said, "What things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." And it's true. All of us know the effect of our own desires on ourselves, and how events are influenced by great desires. Every economic change down through the centuries has been due to the desire of man to benefit himself. However, we must believe, have faith. Otherwise, our innermost desires, our prayers, become simply bursting bubbles. The great Master also said, "If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth." You've heard all this before, but what have you done about it? What are you doing about it? Belief, faith, is something that has to take hold of you after you take hold of it. It has to get deep down inside you and work from within out. When you believe sufficiently in something, you bring it into existence in your mind. The creative power within creates it for you. Then it starts to work to duplicate it in your outer life. If you don't let your fears and worries and doubts change this picture, the original pattern you gave your subconscious of what you want, then there'll come a day when you'll see it materialized, just as it was once in consciousness. Believe, have faith, and, as I have said, and say again to impress it indelibly on your mind, anything you want can be yours. The tremendous power of faith. You think faith isn't practical? That it can't do the things I claim for you? Here is a real-life demonstration of the workings of faith when the odds were millions to one against any power in the universe saving this man. Listen, in September 1949, a 19-year-old Navy seaman, William Tolles of Rochester, Michigan, was washed overboard from his carrier without a life jacket. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and he was far out to sea off the coast of Africa. No one saw him go overboard, and he knew when he hit the water that his chances of rescue were almost nil. Instead, however, of surrendering to wild panic, young Tolles kicked out of his dungarees, tied knots in the trouser legs, and used the seat of his trousers as a wind trap to inflate the legs, thus fashioning himself an impromptu life jacket. In his own story, Bill Tolles says that he tried to use the enlisted man's practice of not worrying about the future. He felt that he would be missed on shipboard at 8 o'clock muster, and that search planes would be sent out to look for him, since he was on a warship which was steaming far off the courses of any regular liners. Bill Tolles had such control of himself that he even tried to sleep by resting his head against the leg of the inflated dungarees, but the big waves kept slapping him awake. Controlling his fears, this young Navy man called upon his faith in that something, the power of God within him, and started repeating over and over, "Please God, let me be rescued. Please God, let me be rescued." But when morning came and went and no planes appeared, Bill's spirits began to sink. He had become seasick from being flailed by the waves and swallowing so much water. Yet he never lost faith and kept repeating his prayer, "Please God, let me be rescued." Please, God, let me be rescued. At 3 that afternoon, after Bill Tolles had been in the water 11 hours, he was sighted by sailors on the Executor, an American export lines freighter, who were amazed to discover a man in the ocean. But even more amazing, the captain of this freighter could not explain why he had switched his ship from its usual course off Africa to a Spanish course which intersected to the Navy carrier's homebound route. Had he not done so, he would not have passed within several hundred miles of the one little spot in the vast ocean where Bill Tolles, with his unfaltering faith in God, was awaiting rescue. Bill was in such good physical shape, after all he had been through, that he climbed the ship's ladder of the Executor unassisted, and was toasted in champagne by the ship's crew. But Bill Tolles' first act was to thank God for answering his prayer. Will you ever again doubt in the face of such evidence that all things are possible to him that believeth? What moved that captain to change the course of his ship and go unerringly to this tiny spot in the millions of square miles of water, so he could pick up a man who had faith that God would let him be rescued? There is no limit to the reach of the mind and the spirit. How strong is your faith? It should be a great deal stronger after this. You will probably never be called upon to exercise such faith under such testing emergency conditions. It should therefore be easier for you to know and believe and to say, "It is so," with respect to whatever you need in life. Your ship will find you one of these days laden with all you desire if you hold on to your faith. This faith must be positive, expectant, unwavering, and utterly sincere, or it will not energize that something, the creative power within, which must be activated before what you have pictured can be attracted to you. In an emergency, though, don't try to compel the answer to come to you at any specific time, because the God consciousness does not operate within the time limitations of earth. Setting a time limit will make you tense and cause you to doubt that you will receive help in time. All you have to do is maintain the faith that help will come to you at the time that you need it most. Such an attitude of mind will free the God-given creative power of any and all self-imposed limitations and enable it to provide you with the aid and direction you must have to meet your particular crisis. Bill Tolles didn't question that God knew his business when he kept repeating with faith, "Please, God, let me be rescued." He knew, he believed, and so it was. Cast aside your doubts forever, because if you believe it, it's so.